15 almost perfect 10 out of 10 games that you probably never heard of. Shadows of the Damned Hella Remastered. So in this game, you play as Garcia Hotspur, this demon hunter dude whose girlfriend gets kidnapped by demons, so naturally you go to hell to get her back. It's a pretty straightforward setup, but the game is anything but. The whole thing has this grindhouse B-movie vibe, and it's full of crazy characters and over-the-top action. The combat is pretty standard third-person shooting, but it's the atmosphere and the humor that make it stand out. Garcia is constantly cracking jokes, and the game is full of visual gags and silly situations. It's not afraid to be ridiculous, and that's part of its charm. What's cool is the way they use light and dark in the game. You have this torch that you use to fight off the shadows and solve puzzles. It's a neat mechanic that adds a layer of strategy to the combat. You can't just run in guns blazing, you have to think about how you're going to use your light to your advantage. The story, while simple, is actually pretty touching at times. It's about Garcia's love for his girlfriend and his determination to rescue her no matter what. It's a surprisingly sweet story underneath all the demon slaying and crazy humor. Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Okay, so Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Picture this. You're in a dusty saloon, the kind with swinging doors and a piano player tinkling away in the corner. This grizzled old bounty hunter, Silas Greaves, walks in, orders a drink, and starts telling stories about his life. That's basically the whole game. It's framed as him recounting his adventures, and it's a really clever way to do it. What's really cool is that Silas isn't always the most reliable narrator. He tends to exaggerate things, and sometimes he even gets his facts mixed up, so the game actually changes based on what he says. He might be telling a story about fighting off a gang of outlaws, and then suddenly the game throws a whole bunch more enemies at you because, hey, that's how Silas remembers it. Or he might say he jumped across a huge chasm, and then the level design will suddenly change to include this impossible jump. It's a really fun and unpredictable way to experience the story. You're never quite sure what's real and what's just Silas's imagination. The gunfights are pretty great too. It's a solid western shooter with all the classic weapons, revolvers, rifles, shotguns, the whole shebang. You can slow down time for some cool slow motion kills, and there are these duels where you have to be lightning fast on the draw. It's a satisfying and engaging combat system. It's not just about shooting. There's some strategy involved in how you use your weapons and when you use your special abilities. The game has a really distinct look too. It's got this stylized, almost comic book-like art style that really fits the over-the-top nature of Silas's stories. It's visually appealing, and it gives the game a unique personality. It's not trying to be realistic, it's embracing the fun and exaggerated style of classic westerns. Call of Juarez Gunslinger isn't a massive epic game, but it's a really enjoyable and memorable experience. It's a fresh take on the western genre, and it's definitely worth a play if you're into shooters or just like a good fun story. It's a great game for when you just want to unwind and have a good time. It's a fun, quirky, and surprisingly clever game. Lost Odyssey 2007. Lost Odyssey is a JRPG in the classic style, and it's a bit of a throwback. It's got turn-based combat, a big world to explore, and a long and involved story. It came out on the Xbox 360, so it's a bit older now, but it still holds up. What makes Lost Odyssey special is its focus on character and story. It's a really emotional game, and it deals with some heavy themes. You play as Kaim, an immortal warrior who has amnesia. He's trying to figure out who he is and what happened to him, and he teams up with a bunch of other characters who are also dealing with their own problems. The story is really well written, and it's full of twists and turns. It's a classic JRPG story, but it's told in a way that feels fresh and engaging. What's cool about Lost Odyssey is the 1,000 Years of Dreams system. As you play, you find these short stories that give you insight into Kaim's past and the lives of other characters. They're really well written, and they add a lot of depth to the story. Some of them are heartbreaking, some of them are funny, and some of them are just beautiful. It's a really unique way to tell a story, and it's one of the things that makes Lost Odyssey so memorable. The combat is pretty standard turn-based JRPG fare, but it's well balanced and engaging. There's a lot of strategy involved in choosing your party members, equipping them with the right skills, and planning your attacks. It's not the most innovative combat system, but it's solid and enjoyable. Lost Odyssey is a long game, but it's a journey worth taking. It's a classic JRPG with a great story, memorable characters, and a unique storytelling mechanic. If you're a fan of JRPGs, you should definitely check it out. It's a game that will stick with you, especially those 1,000 Years of Dreams stories. It's a bit of a commitment, but it's a rewarding experience. Sentinels Aegis Rim. Aegis Rim is, well, it's unlike anything else I've played. It's a visual novel, but it's also a strategy RPG, and it blends those genres in a really unique way. It's a complex and intricate story about 13 teenagers who are caught up in a time-traveling war against giant alien invaders. It sounds complicated, and it is, but it's also incredibly compelling. What makes 13 Sentinels so fascinating is the way it tells its story. It's told from the perspectives of all 13 characters, and you can jump between their stories at any time. This non-linear approach to storytelling can be a bit confusing at first, but it gradually comes together to form a complete picture. It's like piecing together a puzzle, and it's incredibly satisfying when everything clicks into place. The gameplay is divided into two parts. The first part is the Remembrance mode, which is where you experience the story through the different characters' perspectives. It's mostly dialogue and visual novel style interactions, but it's engaging because the story is so well written. The second part is the Destruction mode, which is a strategy RPG. You control the Sentinels, giant robots, in turn-based battles against the aliens. It's a fun and challenging combat system, and it's a nice change of pace from the story-heavy Remembrance mode. The game's visual style is also really striking. It's beautifully drawn and animated and has a distinct, almost painterly look. It's a visually stunning game, and it really enhances the storytelling. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Okay, so Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, it's a really clever puzzle game, but it's also a mystery. You play as a ghost, which is kind of cool, right? Your name is Sissel, and you're dead, but you don't know how you died. So the whole game is about you trying to figure out who killed you. The way you play is pretty unique. Since you're a ghost, you can't just walk around. You have to possess things like lamps, bicycles, even a donut, and use them to mess with stuff. You might turn on a light to distract someone or move a chair to block their path. It's all about figuring out how to use the environment to solve these puzzles, and the puzzles are intertwined with the story. It's not just random puzzles, they're all connected to the mystery. You're trying to figure out what happened, and solving the puzzles is how you get clues. It's like a big, interactive detective story. The story itself is really interesting. It's not straightforward at all. It jumps around in time, and you see things from different people's perspectives. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and you have to put all the pieces together to understand what's going on. There are a lot of twists and turns, and it keeps you guessing. The characters are pretty quirky too. They're all memorable, and they all have their own secrets. The dialogue is funny and witty, and it really brings the characters to life. It's a fun cast. Honestly, Ghost Trick is just a really well-made game. It's clever, it's charming, and it's full of surprises. It's a unique experience that's hard to find anywhere else. If you like puzzle games or mysteries, you should definitely check it out. It's a game that makes you think, and it's a game that will stick with you after you're done. It's just a really enjoyable game. Resonance of Fate? So, Resonance of Fate. This game is just weird. Like JRPG weird, but even more weird. So, it's another JRPG, right? So you've got your big world, your airships, your crystals, all that good stuff. But the way you fight, forget everything you know about turn-based combat. This game has its own thing going on. It's called the Tri-Attack system, and it's complicated. Basically, you've got these three characters, and they're all armed to the teeth. You're trying to chain their attacks together to do maximum damage. It involves running around, jumping, and doing these special scratches to really hurt the bad guys. It sounds confusing, and yeah, it kind of is at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty satisfying. It's like solving a puzzle while you're fighting. The story is, well, it's a JRPG story. You've got your classic elements, a corrupt government, a big conspiracy, and of course, the chosen ones, or in this case, mercenaries, who are destined to save the world. It's not the most original story you'll ever see, but it's told well enough, and the characters are pretty likable. They've got their own quirks and personalities, which makes them fun to watch. What really makes Resonance of Fate different is the way it looks. It's got this really distinctive visual style. It's almost like a steampunk anime with all these elaborate costumes and crazy gadgets. The world itself is full of gears and clockwork stuff. It's a really cool and unique look that gives the game a lot of character. Now, this game is not easy. That combat system I was talking about, it takes time and effort to learn. You can't just button mash your way through battles. You have to think about what you're doing and plan your attacks carefully. It can be frustrating sometimes, especially when you're first starting out, but when you finally pull off a perfect combo and take down a tough enemy, it feels really good. So Resonance of Fate, it's definitely not for everyone. It's a weird, challenging, and sometimes frustrating game, but if you're a JRPG fan who's looking for something different and you're willing to put in the time to learn the ropes, you might actually enjoy it. It's definitely a unique experience, and it's got a certain charm to it. It's a bit of a niche game, but it's memorable. The Vanquish. Imagine a game where you're basically a human rocket, sliding around at insane speeds, blowing stuff up in slow motion. That's Vanquish. It's pure, unadulterated action. You play this guy, Sam, and he's wearing this super powered suit. He's trying to take back a space station that's been taken over by robots, and that's pretty much all the story you need. It's not about the plot, it's about the crazy action. And the action is wild. Sam can boost around like he's on roller skates, he can slow down time so he can line up perfect shots, and he's got a whole arsenal of crazy weapons. Think shotguns that turn enemies into goo, rocket launchers, and all sorts of other fun stuff. It's just a constant explosion of gunfire, slow motion dives, and robots getting blown to bits. It's like a Michael Bay movie, but you're in control. What's cool is that it's not just mindless action. There's actually some strategy involved. You can't just run in guns blazing because you'll get taken down pretty quickly. You have to think about how you're going to use your abilities and your weapons. The slow motion thing is super important. It lets you dodge attacks and line up shots, and it adds a cool tactical element to the fighting. They're always trying to find the best way to use your limited resources and take down the enemies efficiently. The game looks really good too. It's got this sleek futuristic style, everything is shiny and metallic, and the robots look really cool. The action is always smooth and fluid, even when there's a ton going on screen. It's just a visually impressive game. Vanquish is a pretty short game, you can probably beat it in a few hours, but those few hours are packed with intense action. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, it's just about having fun and feeling like a badass. If you're looking for a game that's fast, fun, and doesn't require a lot of thinking, you should definitely check this one out. It's just a really great action game. It's perfect for when you just want to let loose and blow some stuff up. It's a classic for a reason. Binary Domain. This game is a really funny one, so imagine Gears of War, but made by RGG Studios, the same studio who are known for the amazing Yakuza games. This is really weird and unexpected, but anyway, this game is kind of a hidden gem, I think. It's a third-person shooter, but it's got this really interesting angle. It's all about robots and relationships. You play this guy, Dan, and he's part of a squad sent to Japan to deal with these robots that have gone rogue. The story is, well, it's a little cheesy at times, but honestly, it's pretty engaging. It's got some surprising twists and turns, and the characters are actually pretty likable. They've got their own personalities and quirks, which makes them fun to watch. What makes Binary Domain different is this thing they call the consequence system. It's all about how you interact with your squad mates. If you're a jerk to them, they're not going to be too keen on helping you out in a firefight. But if you're cool and supportive, they'll have your back. It's not just about shooting, it's about building trust and teamwork. It makes you actually think about what you say and how you act, because it can really affect how the game plays out. It's a neat mechanic that adds a layer of strategy beyond just pointing and shooting. The shooting itself is pretty solid. It's your basic third-person cover shooter, but it's well done. The robots are fun to fight, they've got different designs and attack patterns, so it keeps things interesting, and there's a good variety of weapons to try out. So it's not the most innovative combat system ever, but it's satisfying and enjoyable. The game also has a really cool visual style. It's kind of gritty and futuristic, which I think works really well. The robots look awesome, and the environments are interesting to explore. It's just a visually appealing game. Binary Domain is one of those games that I think a lot of people missed when it came out. It's got a decent story, some likable characters, and a really cool gameplay mechanic that makes it stand out from other shooters. If you're looking for something a little different and you like games with squad mechanics and some strategic depth, you should definitely give this one a try. It's a game that's a bit underappreciated, but it's definitely worth checking out. It's just a good, solid shooter with some interesting ideas. Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom. So, Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom. It's a game that kind of flew under the radar, but it's actually pretty charming. It's an action-adventure game, and you play this thief guy named Taepu. He teams up with this giant, powerful creature called the Majin. Think like a friendly, overgrown teddy bear, but, you know, super strong. The game is set in this old, ruined kingdom, and it's all about exploring, solving puzzles, and fighting bad guys. What makes Majin special is the relationship between Taepu and the Majin. They're not just partners, they're actually friends. The Majin is huge and strong, like ridiculously powerful, but he's also kind of innocent and childlike. He's got this big, goofy personality. And Taepu is smaller, more agile, and he's basically the brains of the operation. He's the one who figures out how to get around and what to do. It's really fun watching them interact. They bicker and joke around, and you can tell they genuinely care about each other. It's a really sweet dynamic. The gameplay is a mix of different things. You've got some combat, some exploration, and some puzzle solving. Tepe you can climb and jump around, and the Majin can smash stuff and lift heavy things. So you're constantly switching between them, using their different abilities to get through the levels. The fighting is pretty straightforward, it's not super complicated, but it's satisfying to watch the Majin just wreck the bad guys. He's like a one-man wrecking crew. The world they've created is actually pretty cool. It's a beautiful, ruined kingdom with all these ancient temples and hidden areas. Exploring it is a big part of the fun. There are lots of things to find too, like collectibles and side quests, which gives you more to do. Shadows over Loathing? Shadows over Loathing is just silly, like properly silly. It's a comedy RPG and it leans hard into the humor. Think classic point-and-click adventure game logic mixed with turn-based combat and a whole lot of absurdity. It's set in this 1920s world, but it's full of monsters, magic, and ridiculous situations. What makes Shadows over Loathing so fun is the writing. It's genuinely funny, with tons of puns, jokes, and pop culture references. The characters are all quirky and memorable, and the dialogue is consistently witty. It's the kind of game where you'll find yourself laughing out loud at some of the jokes. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. You explore the world, talk to people, solve puzzles, and fight monsters. The combat is turn-based, but it's not super complex. It's more about choosing the right skills and using your items effectively. The focus is definitely on the story and the humor, not the combat. What's cool is how much freedom you have in how you approach situations. There are often multiple ways to solve a puzzle or deal with a problem, and your choices can have consequences down the line. It encourages experimentation and makes the game more replayable. Tangle Tower. So, Tangle Tower, it's this cute little mystery game, and it's perfect for when you just want to chill and solve some puzzles. The whole thing is set in this weird tower, and everyone who lives there is a suspect. It's like a cartoon version of a murder mystery, if that makes sense. The art style is really cool. It's all colorful and kind of quirky, which gives the game a lot of personality. It's a point-and-click adventure, so you spend your time exploring different rooms, chatting with the characters, and picking up clues. What makes Tangle Tower enjoyable is the people you meet. They're all a bit odd, and they all have their own secrets. It's fun to talk to them and try to figure out who's telling the truth and who's lying. The dialogue is pretty witty too. It's not laugh out loud funny all the time, but it's consistently clever and well written. It keeps you entertained as you're going through the game. The puzzles themselves are pretty good. They're not super hard, but they're challenging enough to make you think, and they all fit into the story, which is nice. They're not just random puzzles thrown in there. They actually make sense in the context of the tower and what happened. Solving them is satisfying, and it helps you piece together the mystery. It's like you're actually a detective. The story is a classic whodunit, but it's told in a lighthearted way. It's not a super serious mystery, it's more about having fun and enjoying the ride. It's intriguing enough to keep you guessing though, and you'll want to see how it all plays out. It's a fun little mystery to unravel. Tangle Tower isn't a huge game, but it's a fun and charming experience. It's perfect for a relaxing afternoon when you want a puzzle game with a good story and some memorable characters. If you like point-and-click adventures or mysteries, you should definitely give this one a try. It's a great game to curl up with on the couch. It's just a nice, well-made puzzle game that's easy to enjoy.
Nope.
Cryostasis, Sleep of Reason. Okay, so Cryostasis, Sleep of Reason is a pretty strange game. It's set on this icebreaker ship way up in the Arctic, and everything is frozen solid. You're this guy, Alexander, and you're trying to figure out what went down with the crew. It's a creepy vibe, for sure. The ship is practically deserted, and you keep getting these flashbacks that show you what happened. The fighting in this game is really different. You can actually jump into people's memories right before they died and change what happened. That's how you solve puzzles and how you fight the monsters too. These monsters are all frozen and mutated, and you have to use the stuff around you to take them out. Like maybe you need to thaw some ice or use something hot to hurt them. It's a pretty unusual system. It's a slow burn though. You spend a lot of time just walking around the ship and it can be a bit tedious. The combat isn't the best either. It feels a little clunky, but because of that memory changing thing, it's still kind of interesting. The story is a little hard to follow, to be honest. It's all mixed up with these flashbacks and some weird philosophical ideas. It's confusing at times, but it's also intriguing enough to make you want to keep playing and try to understand what happened. Cryostasis is definitely something. It's got some really interesting ideas, and it's unlike any other game I've played. Asura's Wrath. Man, this game is just crazy. It's like someone took a bunch of anime tropes, mixed them with some Hindu mythology, and then cranked everything up to 11. It's not your typical action game, it's more like an interactive anime series. You play Asura, who's basically a demigod, and he gets betrayed and killed, which, you know, is a bad start to his day. But then he comes back, fueled by pure, unadulterated rage, and he's out for revenge. That's the basic plot, and it's pretty straightforward, but the way they tell the story is anything but. What makes Asura's Wrath stand out is how cinematic it is. It's broken up into episodes, just like a TV show, and it's packed with quick-time events and these ridiculously over-the-top action sequences. Think giant explosions, planet-sized enemies, and Asura punching things so hard they explode. It's not just about fighting, it's about experiencing this epic, almost operatic story. It's like you're watching an anime, but you get to control what happens. The actual fighting is, well, it's there. It's not the deepest combat system you'll ever see. You've got your basic attacks, your special moves, and that's about it. But honestly, it's not really about the complexity of the combat. It's more about the spectacle. It's about seeing Asura unleash his fury and just destroy everything in his path. He can punch mountains apart. He can shoot energy blasts. He can basically do anything the story needs him to do. It's more about the visual impact than the technical skill. And the game looks fantastic. It's got this really unique art style that's inspired by anime and Hindu art. The characters are all huge and powerful, and the environments are these massive, imaginative landscapes. It's a visually stunning game, even by today's standards. Asura's Wrath isn't a long game, and it's definitely not a traditional action game. It's more of an interactive anime experience. It's short, it's loud, it's completely over the top, and it doesn't apologize for any of it. If you're looking for something different and you enjoy a good dose of spectacle and ridiculous action, you should definitely give it a try. It's a unique and memorable experience. It's a great example of how to make a truly bombastic and over-the-top action game. It's not trying to be subtle, it's just pure, unadulterated fun. Murdered Sole Suspect.
To bring him closer to the truth about his murder.
The whole idea behind this game is pretty cool. You're a cop, Ronin, and you get murdered. Brutal, right? But instead of, just being gone, you become a ghost. And your new ghost job? Solving your own murder. It's a detective game, but with a supernatural twist. What makes it interesting is how you actually investigate. Being a ghost has its perks. You can walk right through walls, which is handy for sneaking into places you shouldn't be. You can possess people, so you can eavesdrop on conversations and see what they're thinking. You can even rewind time a little bit to see what happened in a certain spot. It's a pretty creative way to gather clues and figure out what went down. It's not just about looking at stuff, you're actively using your ghost powers to find the truth. The story itself is a classic murder mystery, really. It's got twists, it's got turns, it's got red herrings, all the stuff you'd expect. It's not the most original story ever told, but it's engaging enough to keep you playing. You also get to learn more about Ronin's past and his relationships with other people, which adds some depth to the whole thing. It's not just about solving the crime, it's about Ronin's personal journey too. The game has a pretty cool look too. It's dark and atmospheric, which makes sense since you're a ghost and everything. It's set in Salem, Massachusetts, which is a perfect setting for a ghost story. The city looks great and it definitely adds to the creepy vibe. It's a city with a history and the game uses that well. El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. So, El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. This game is weird, like seriously weird. It's visually stunning though. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. The art style is completely unique. It's all abstract and dreamlike. It's like walking through a painting and the environments are constantly shifting and changing. It's mesmerizing to just look at sometimes. It's an action game, but it's not your typical hack and slash affair. The combat is, well, it's okay. It's not super deep or complex, but it's satisfying enough. It's more about the visual spectacle of the fights than the actual mechanics. You're not gonna find a ton of intricate combos or anything like that. It's more about the experience of the battles. The story, that's where things get even weirder. It's loosely based on biblical themes, but it's interpreted in a really abstract and artistic way. It's not a literal retelling of the Bible, it's more like a philosophical exploration of faith, redemption, and free will. It's a story that's open to a lot of different interpretations, and it's really up to you what you take away from it. It's not a story that spells everything out for you. Honestly, El Shaddai is a game that's more about the experience than the gameplay. It's a visually stunning and thought-provoking game. It's the kind of game that will stick with you after you've finished playing it, even if you're not entirely sure what it was all about. It's not a game for everyone. It's definitely not your typical action game, but if you're looking for something different, something that's more artistic and surreal, you should definitely check it out. It's a truly unique and memorable experience. Singularity. Singularity is a cool, but often overlooked shooter. It mixes standard FPS mechanics with some neat time manipulation powers, and it creates a pretty unique experience. You're on this remote Russian island, and things have gone sideways, time is all messed up, and there are these strange creatures roaming around. The story is interesting, a mix of sci-fi and horror, and it keeps you guessing. What makes Singularity stand out is the TMD, time manipulation device. You can use it to age or de-age objects, which is really clever for both combat and puzzle solving. You can age enemies to dust, rewind time to undo mistakes, or even age objects to create platforms or open pathways. It adds a layer of strategy to the gunfights, and it makes exploring the island more interesting. The atmosphere is also really well done. The island is creepy and unsettling, and the time distortions add to the sense of unease. It's a game that does a good job of building tension and making you feel like you're in a dangerous and unpredictable place. The shooting mechanics are solid, if not particularly groundbreaking. It's your standard FPS fare, but the time manipulation powers add a fun twist. There are a variety of weapons to find, and the combat is challenging but rewarding. Singularity is a game that I think deserves more attention. It's a well-made shooter with some unique ideas and a creepy atmosphere. If you're looking for a shooter that's a bit different, you should definitely check it out. It's a game that's definitely worth playing if you like shooters with a bit of a twist. It's a fun and unique experience that often gets overlooked. The Darkness 2. This game is dark, like really dark. It's based on a comic book and it definitely has that gritty noir feel. You play Jackie Estacado, who's basically a mob boss, and he gets possessed by this demonic force called the Darkness, which, you know, sounds like a bad day, but it gives him some seriously messed up powers, which he then uses to get revenge on everyone who's wronged him. So it's a revenge story, but with demons. What really makes the Darkness 2 stand out is the way it looks. It's cel-shaded, which gives it this kind of comic book style, and it's incredibly violent. I mean, really violent. The Darkness powers are brutal. Jackie can sprout these demonic tentacles and use them to grab enemies, throw stuff around, and just, well, let's just say things get messy. It's definitely not a game for kids or anyone who's squeamish. The gameplay is a mix of shooting and using these darkness powers. You've got your standard guns, but the tentacles are what make it interesting. You can grab enemies and use them as shields, or you can rip them apart. It's a really fun and satisfying way to fight. It's not just about shooting, you've got these extra powers that really add to the combat. The story is actually pretty good too. It's a dark and twisted tale of revenge, sure, but it's also about Jackie's struggle to control the darkness. It's like he's fighting his own inner demons, literally. The characters are well developed and the voice acting is excellent. You actually start to care about what happens to Jackie, even though he's kind of a bad guy.